is going to be the first, and here we go. Spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Alkyone, we have our South Korean Zerg player, the Red Zerg, representing Gaimin Gladiators. It is SHIN. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have as opponent, we have the Canadian Protoss player, the Blue Protoss, representing Basilisk. It is Trigger. It should have been me. And if you're in the chat, you know what time it is. It's Gamba time. Predictions are now open. Place your bets on who you think will take the series. Best of luck in the chat. As a reminder, this should be a prediction for the entire series, not just the game. So it is a prediction for the best of 5, not just game 1. Hello, SHIN. As SHIN is doing what he does best, he is rushing into the gold. Gold base is being taken. Trigger moving out with the probe scouts, trying to get a read on what's going on. Alas, SHIN so far sneaking into that gold. So far, standard opener out of our Protoss player, and Trigger will soon realize what's going on. Again, SHIN is known for rushing into this gold, so Trigger, yeah, you can see he's very quickly scouting, checking that location, and will confirm the gold base. The Trigger is aware. And we'll see if Trigger can punish this. So it can be quite difficult. On the one hand, SHIN is going to have to defend 2 locations that are quite spread out, the gold base and the main. But Zerg players have been getting better and better at doing so. As Trigger, he does spot the Maynard. And we'll see if Trigger does go for Adepts to try to punish this, or just go into a Stargate opener instead. We'll see where he takes us. We'll see. He beat Honmono. He did. He did beat Honmono. True. Not wrong. As you can see, Trigger just being as annoying as possible, trying to force some inefficient mining here in the gold. Cheeky move. Likewise, behind this, going Stalker first. Interesting. Going for the initial Stalker. And we see why. It is going to be a Twilight Council opener out of Trigger. Okay. Trigger is going to be the aggressor. We mentioned before that right now the pressure is on Trigger to punish this. He's going to do so with what looks to be either Glaive Adepts or maybe something a little bit different. Could be Adepts, could be a DT opener instead. Trigger has options. And the Stalker, the purpose is to deny the scout. Is to keep the Overlord pinned at the pillar and ensure that SHIN stays in the dark. On the main base, we have not pulled out of gas. Oh my god. Okay. I just a roller coaster ride of emotions. I was a little bit shocked when I saw charge. I was like, he's crazy. He's going for a 2-base all in. But he cancels charge, goes for glaives. That is a lot more standard, a lot more sane. Going for a gateway explosion as well, pulling out of gas. So it's going to be 4-gate glaive adept out of Trigger. And we'll see what the execution looks like. We'll see if he can bring this all together here. If he had stayed in gas, this could be... Oh, because I think we are pulling back into gas. This could be Glaive Adepts and DTs. As we are pulling back in. So Trigger might be a little bit more committed. No! The wall's not a wall! Lings, they flood in. They flood in. Boys are being pulled. The Stalker is going to go down. A rough start for Trigger. Not like this. Not like this. Gonna be the Stalker, both workers, and he wants the Adept. He gets it. Gets the Adept, gets a full scout of the main base as well. SHIN, he sees everything. He sees all, he knows all in the main. Gets eyes on the extra gateways. That's a 5th gate on the way. And this is a rough start for Trigger. Not like this. We have more Lings on the way. SHIN going for a Roach Warren. He's aware of how committed Trigger's about to be. And SHIN is getting ready to shut this down. As essentially this is now an all-in. I say that Trigger does cancel the gateway. Okay, never mind. He expands, takes a 3rd. I don't know if he can save the 3rd base, but Trigger is trying to macro out of this. Trying to play some mind games. The expansion is denied. Yeah, Lings, they're forcing the all-in, whether Trigger wants to or not. We'll head towards the gold. We'll get a drone, but the Lings will shut this down. And again, there's no Robo. There's no Robo. There's no War Prison behind this. Robo's still on the way. And Trigger is still stuck on 2 bases. Yeah, he's not going to be able to expand. It's just not going to happen. Shin just has too much map control. Once again, catching out the Adepts. It's just been a rough start. And Shin is amassing roaches. Shin is not just about denying the expansion and containing his opponents. Soon it's going to be about killing Trigger. As more Adepts are getting caught out. Things will back off. Shin cutting workers at 32. Has a low worker count because it's going to be Shin's turn to be committed and to be all in. Roaches and Ravagers are amassing. Lings are building up. Now Trigger does get eyes on all the Roaches, but just because he knows they're coming doesn't mean he can stop them. Now he's getting into Immortal production. There's 1 Immortal on the way. But there's no shield battery, there's no overcharge. There is that 1 sentry with a force field, but the 3rd base is going to be denied once again. Shin pushing forward, zoning away the main army. Will deny the expansion. Ooh, that's a kill! That's a kill, not a cancel. And that's Nartosis Pylon. Oh my god, Pylon goes down, everything gets depowered, GG gets called, and Shin will take game number 1. Ooh. GG. Shin will take the first game, but again, it was just a really rough start for Trigger. Unfortunately, Trigger, you know, he's a big hero fan, so he pulled a bit of a hero. The natural base was wide open, Lings flooded in, worker damage was dealt, the Stalker, the Adept, full scatter the main as well. Shin was in the driver's seat from that moment. There was a lot of potential for for Trigger, if he was able to hide his initial build and, you know, get into it, but alas, was denied that, and with that, Shin takes the first game. Here we go. Here we go. As a reminder, this is a rematch. I believe, if I recall correctly, Trigger and Shin, they faced off last week in the Tenacious Turtle Tussle, where Trigger did defeat Shin in the semi-finals, and did deny Shin the grand finals, where Trigger went up against Beyond. But now they're in a best of 5, and now it's time for the Zerg player to get their revenge. As we're getting into game number 2, and spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Dynasty, we have the South Korean Zerg player, the Red Zerg, representing Gaiman Gladiators. It is Shin. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have the Canadian Protoss player, the Blue Protoss, representing Basilisk. It is Trigger. So Trapper stopped it with Cannon Rush? Yes. Not just Trap, as Shin is going for the gold, of course he is. But Trap alongside Hero, Classic, a lot of the Korean Protosses. A good way to punish the gold base. Speaking of punish, let's go. But speaking of punishing the gold bases, you can do so with a Forge Expand. Speaking of, the Forge has been placed, and this time Trigger, his goal here is to try to punish the expansion, but there is no Overlord in position. Pylon has been spotted. We'll see if Shin can get away with the gold. Boys are being pulled. The boys are on the way. Pylon is about to finish. Trigger coming back in. And can Shin save the expansion? As the boys have arrived. Up! The probe! Probe getting caught out. Cannon is under fire. Oh, and this cannon rush, it's being denied. It's being shut down. Yeah, the cannon is going to be cancelled. The probe is being zoned away. And this cannon rush, it's not going to be able to get up and running. Yeah, the cannons will be denied. Oh, he wants the probe. He wants it. He gets it. Probe goes down. Cannon as well. Oh, and this is a rough start for Trigger. He invested so heavily here into denying the expansion, and he's not going to be able to. The base is going to get up and running, unlike on Alcyone, for example, where you have the terrain helping you kind of zone away the drones and get the cannon rush up and running. Alas, here, the cannons are out in the open. They're out in the open. The terrain is working against the Protoss here. It's not as ideal. And alas, Shin does shut it down. Behind this Trigger, he's going to follow up with his own gold, with his own expansion. Gate is on the way as well. But alas, I would definitely say that SHIN is in a better position here in the early game. It's taking the Rich Vestine Gas Geyser. Roach Warren has been placed. Again, with the high yield gas, SHIN can afford to rush into roaches. Trigger is going to be in trouble here. Not like this, Spaffy. Not like this. As Trigger can't really apply any pressure, he can't really threaten the bases of SHIN. Roach Warren about to finish, and SHIN can rush into his own Roach Ravager. With that, he can do one of two things. I mean, he can do it all, actually. He can deny mining here at the gold base with his roaches. A reason why this gold is a little bit safer for Protoss is because Lingbane can't really touch this, but range-based units can. So Roach and Ravager are on the way. Likewise, this Warloff is looking quite vulnerable as well to Ravager Vials. The tech was delayed because of the... delayed tech in general because of the faster forge, because of the cannons. It is initially a rough start for Trigger. Trigger, he just wants to get into his game. He just hasn't been able to. The Ravagers are on the way. You can see SHIN peeling off a handful of roaches to threaten the mineral line, to deny any kind of mining, to distract Trigger. As the main army does hit the natural. Yeah, cannon's gonna be shut down. No shield battery. Cybercore under fire. Likewise, roaches, they hit the gold. And Trigger, he's stuck on a one base economy. The Cybercore's gonna fall as well. Not like this. Warp Gate is denied. There's an Oracle on the way. But against an overwhelming force like this, there's just not much that Trigger can do. He's gonna try and buy some time with the Wall of Pylons. But last SHIN is broken in, takes out the Oracle, GG gets called, and SHIN will take a 2-0 lead in the Grand Finals. GG. GG, well played. Again, just a really rough start for Trigger. He attempted to punish this build with a cannon rush. Unfortunately, alas, SHIN was able to shut it down, pull the boys, made sure that the cannons were not able to get up and running, was able to zone away the probe more importantly. Got some nice surface area on those cannons and did just shut it down. And with that, I'm hoping for a back and forth. I'm hoping we can have an extended series, but alas, the pressure is now on Trigger. No more missteps, no more mistakes. We have seen Trigger defeat SHIN before, but these have been some rough games, especially because I don't think Game 1 and Game 2 have really been able to showcase the skill of Trigger. It's just been some really rough starts. Where Game 1, he went for a Twilight Council opener, and there was a hole in the wall, so Lings just flooded in, and it was just a rough start. Likewise, Game 2, failed Cannon Rush. Now we're getting into Game number 3. And spawning in the top left-hand corner of side Delta, we have the South Korean Zerg player, the Red Zerg, representing the Gaimin Gladiators. It is SHIN. One game away from taking the entire series, and spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the Canadian Protoss player, the Blue Protoss, representing Basilisk. It is Trigger. The pressure is on Trigger. Has to fight back here and now to make a series out of this and to potentially force the ace match. The pressure is on. Now, what I will say, as we load into side Delta, there's no gold. There's no gold bases on side Delta, so SHIN, he's not tempted to go for a ninja base to rush into the gold like he was in both the first games. So we should see a more standard opener, and we should be able to embrace the mid-game. For the first time this series. Like, this has been a fast final so far. It was a really fast Game 1 and Game 2. A big part of that was the maps. I mean, also SHIN, but... the maps did enable SHIN to be more of an animal in Game 1 and Game 2. And what do you have in store for us here in Game 3? Again, we'll see if Trigger can shake off the last couple of games. Can hone in. Again, we have seen Trigger defeat Shin in a standard game, but we just haven't had standard games. Like, we haven't gotten the mid-game yet. It just hasn't happened. We haven't gotten there. Trigger's going for his own gate expand into Cybercore. Everything looking as it should. And now we can take a moment to just calm down, you know, embrace the ZvP. Pylon has been placed. Soon to be, I imagine, a Stargate opener. There we go. Stargate has been placed for Trigger. And from here, we should be seeing an Oracle into a third. Into something more standard. We'll see. Shin is taking his own third base, droning up. Making a handful of links to keep up with the Adepts. So far, so good. Trigger does get eyes on the third. And the initial unit of choice should be an Oracle, but we'll keep an eye on Trigger. There we go, the Oracle is on the way. From here, Trigger, he can establish himself, get into a third, get into his own proper saturation. Oh, the Adepts, they do commit to the shade! A little bit unfortunate here, but the Adepts will go down. Massive catch from Shin. And without those Adepts, the third base of Trigger is going to be that much more exposed. The third is going to be that much more vulnerable. Lings are moving out. Link speed about to kick in. And Trigger may have to keep his first Oracle back at... Yeah, he has to keep his Oracle back at home. Without the Adepts, the Oracle is going to be stuck here. Shin trying to bait out the Pulsar Beam. Dips in. Does rotate. And the Pulsar Beam is activated. Just forcing Trigger to spend energy back at home to defend. Behind the Shin droning. Saturating his third. Second Oracle has arrived. Now Trigger can move out. It's going to be on Trigger to get an eye on the saturation and try to punish the economy here of Shin. Let's go. As two Oracles can one-shot drones. Shin going into a 4-minute 30 lair. Very early lair timing here out of Shin. Gases are being taken. This could be to rush into Hydras. This could be to even rush into a Spire. I'm curious what the lair is going to be used for here. Shin is zoning away the Oracles. For the time being, he's on 3 gases. Third Oracle heads towards the main, and Trigger, he will up. He will not be able to scout. Tries to get a little bit closer. There we go. Does get eyes on the main base. Does spot the lair. Oracle taking a lot of damage. Shin does skip the Roach Warren. He's getting up to 4 gases. And again, all this gas has to be spent on something. I'm leaning towards Hydras, but yeah, there it is. Hydra Den has been thrown down, so it's going to be Ling Hydra for Shin. And Trigger is headed into +1 of Blink Stalkers. So this is going to be ideal for Shin. Ling Hydra can be punished by like a more charged out Archon heavy composition with Storm. Is more ideal against Blink Stalkers instead. Oracles ahead for the main base. They're going for the Queen. But the Queen is saved and the Oracle goes down. At least Trigger does scout the tech. At least he's aware of the Hydra Den. Hydras are amassing. Queens will intercept. Trigger behind this, not going to Colossus, but working towards Storm. Double Archives on the way. The initial Stalkers will move out. But there's going to be Ling Hydra to meet this army. Like, Shin is ready for this. Yeah, and they force a recall. The Stalkers will escape. Most of them will. Most of them do recall back home. Link's trying to catch out whatever's left. And there is no blink. Two Stalkers do fall, and Trigger is stuck at home. Yeah, cannons and shield batteries are being thrown down. Storm has begun, but Storm is still a ways off. So until Storm finishes, Trigger can't really push. And SHIN has options. Either he can just commit to a 3-base... Oh, never mind. He's on 81 drones. Oh my god, he droned up so heavily! SHIN is on 81 workers, and from here he can tech up. He can go for an Infestation Bit into a Lurker Den and a Greater Spire. Greater Spire? Sorry, I meant to say Hive. Or he can max out. Once again, he's got his Hydras. The horns have horns. I don't see any other pro player use this skin, but those are some Hydras. They've got quite a lot going on. And SHIN is committing. There's no further tech, there's no Infestation Bit, there's no Lurker Den, just purely Lingbane Hydra. Banelings are morphing in. And we'll see if Trigger can survive this. Now, the plus side for Trigger, if he does survive this push, I mean, SHIN has been neglecting his tech, right? He has been neglecting, you know, his Hive and everything else that comes along with it. But SHIN is almost maxed out. He's walking into a wall of cannons. Banelings making their way into the mineral line. Storms are coming in. Massive storms on the Banelings. Oh my god, the Banelings get shut down. And Trigger, he defends. He does shut down the Lingbane. Hydra's being forced back. That was the best fight that Trigger could have hoped for. Get his cannons in, finish up just in time. But does he have another storm? He does. Whew. Does have another storm. And SHIN is being a little bit stubborn here. SHIN is still remaxing on Lingbane Hydra. He's still not teching. She's making the choice. He wants to end the game with this army. Banelings rolling in once again. Trigger does respond. Pulls away in time. Nice blinks. But at the same time, oh, Trigger, he just doesn't have the supply. He doesn't keep up with the second army. Defends against the Banelings, but what about the fourth? And Trigger getting pulled apart. Banelings coming back in! They hit the third once again! The fourth falls the mineral line as well. And Trigger's getting pulled apart. Again, if it was just one frontal assault, I do think the Trigger could hold. But not against this. Not against these split pushes. As SHIN, he's just remaxing for a third time. Now finally throwing down Infestation Pit. Another Lingbane run by. And Trigger, he's forced into an all-in at this point. He's stuck on 3 bases. His army's forced to turn around. SHIN, he wants the expansion, doesn't quite get it. But SHIN, he ensures that there is no 4th base. There is no expansion. There's no economy for Trigger. SHIN even slipping in for a run by. Bust into the natural. Probes are going down. 4th base under fire. SHIN once again, he gets into the mineral line. 13 probes go down. It is just a numbers game where Trigger just cannot keep up. And the Hive is about to finish, is about to complete. I'm assuming that because there's no Lurker Den yet, I'm assuming that SHIN is going for an Ultra Cavern. That is my assumption, at least. Otherwise, we would have seen further tech. Gases are being taken, +2 melee. Trigger, he's stuck at home. He's slowly fortifying himself. He's building back up. He's at least secure on 3 bases. He's slowly getting his 4th. Wall of pylons on the way, soon to be cannons as well. SHIN once again pushing in. Trigger can weather the storm a little bit longer. And Trigger could try and stabilize. It's possible. Lingbane rolling in. Stalker in position. No shield but behind this. There is a warp in. And Trigger does respond in time. Just threatening a dive. Yeah, Banelings, they're going for the High Templar. No, the High Templar exposed! 2-Eye Templar go down. 2-Eye Templar left, but we've run out of storms. The 4th base is denied once again for a 4th time. And there's that Ultra Cavern. Again, Shin just doubling down on his melee upgrades. And on just diving in. It's going to be Link Main Hydra into Ultra. 4th base being taken. Once again. Trigger is building up an Archon count slowly over time. It's building up. Lings, they slip into the natural. Not again. They get into the mineral line. Lings into the main as well. Lings, they're everywhere, but not like this. Again, just distracting Trigger. Trying to create an opening. Catching out a free Immortal. 5 Ultras are on the way. And the win condition for Shin is just deny the 4th. Deny the 4th over and over again. Just never allow Trigger to stabilize. It's going to be 6 Ultras. Let's go. Oh my god. Storms do connect. Shin getting another expansion. Now again, there is still a world where Trigger can take a fight in his favor. And hold on to the 4th. Say that, Maiden Runway does catch out the pylons. Denies the warp in. Goes to the expansion. It's going to cost Shin some of these Lings, but he's going to get it. Okay, the base goes down. Shin denies the expansion. Just ensures that Trigger stays all in. And now he's going for a big counterattack. And Trigger, I don't think he knows he's going to be pushing into Ultras. The Ultras have been building up. Lings, once again, they denied the 4th. And Trigger, he will get a base. Nice storms on the Hydras. Expansion is going to go down. Shin can afford this loss. And here come the Ultras. Shin is going to collapse on the main army. And Trigger's getting caught out. Oh my god. The Storms are okay, but we catch up the Immortals, the Archons as well. And the Ultras, you don't see them often looking strong here in this matchup, but this is the ideal scenario for them. They don't often shine in ZvP, but they take down the Immortals, the Archons as well. Ultras, they might be expensive, but I mean, hey, they're doing well here at least. Clean up the main army. They can trade well out in the open like that. Especially when your opponent's pushing into you. Trigger's army was reset. He's down to 2 Immortals and 2 Archons. Is once again attempting to reestablish that 4th base. Has been doing so for the past 10 plus minutes. He just wants a 4th. Just wants a base, man. Behind this, Neural is on the way. That's not the direction that I thought Shin was going to take us in. But okay. Technically, he's taking up. Into Infestors and into Neural. Oracle does catch 5 drones. 6 drones even. Not bad. Up 7. 8. 8 drones go down. Let's go. Trigger, the base is up and running, but we're lacking some static defense. The Bailey's getting ready. Shin once again rolling in, and Trigger, he might be distracted by the drops. Okay, pulls away. Trigger does pull away in time. Bailey's gonna be borrowing in the middle line. I'm hoping, yeah, Trigger, he didn't notice, thankfully. Likewise, he denies the drop on the right hand side. The drops, building up a heftier Immortal count. Bearing in mind, because Ultras are so expensive, SHIN doesn't actually have a bank. But it's quite an army, and Neural is done. He wants the Immortals. He wants them. He's going to get them. Yeah, does Neural most of the Immortals. Crashes into the High Templar. GG gets called as SHIN overwhelms, and SHIN will take the series 3-0, becoming this week's Sparkling Tuna Cup champion. GG. GG, well played. Becoming the champion in style here. Again, you don't often see, you know, Ultra Infestor looking quite that good in this matchup, but it was a rougher start for Trigger. Alas, he was denied as he attempted to be active across the map. His fourth base was denied over and over again as well. SHIN just snowballing out of control with his Lingbane Hydra, and just never really allowed Trigger to settle into an economy. Like Trigger, he just never established a fourth base. Did attempt to multiple times throughout that game, but alas, never was able to get there in the end. But GG. GG, well played. Congratulations to SHIN, and a shout out to Trigger as well for making it to those grand finals. Don't forget to join Matcherino for making it to the grand finals. Again, Trigger, he was able to bring down Nick Ranked and Eva alongside Mitchnek as well to make it to the finals. Likewise, SHIN took down a lot of Zerg players. Young Yakov and GG Machine alongside Hacker is top as well. Both players had their road to those finals. GG, congratulations. A special shout out as well to Zaun. Zaun was also featured earlier in the brackets. And of course, GG Machine for winning the random raffle. True. Did win the random raffle. But a shout out to Zaun. We were able to feature Zaun earlier today. Had an intense series against Young Yakov. Did go down in the end. But again, Zaun has only been back 10 days. Has been back for a very short period of time. So it was impressive nonetheless that he was able to force the ace match against Young Yakov, who again has been active in the absence of Zaun. So it was still a close series, still a close quarterfinals. And then we had SHIN take it from there. And I believe this is SHIN's first win. SHIN, this isn't his first tournament, but over the past couple of weeks, it's been some other big names bringing SHIN down. Last week it was Trap. The week before that, it was Beyond. You know, usually it's been Beyond or Trap or another big name to deny SHIN. This time, though, he was able to thrive. He was able to come out on top. GG, congratulations here to SHIN for his first STC win, for his first tuna. Congratulations. And maybe the first of many. Likewise, shout out to Trigger as well for making it to the finals, and I'm hoping to see more of Trigger in the future, and I'm hoping to see more of Trigger tomorrow as well. What do I mean by that? What do I mean by that? Well, in less than 24 hours, let me just double check our calendar. I say less than 24 hours, it's like in 11 hours time. The StarCraft, it doesn't end. It does not end. We have another tournament. We have the Tenacious Turtle Tussle that is going to be in 10 hours. In 10 hours time, it is at a worse time zone for Europe. I will say that is a more rough time slot for Europe, but regardless, it is better for the Americas region and the Korean region, and it is more catered towards the Americas region because of that. But we have in 10 hours the Tenacious Turtle Tussle, and we might see these players reprise their roles. They might return once again in the morning. Players like SHIN, Beyond, Trap, Trigger, and many, many more do show up here in 10 hours as the StarCraft does not end. Again, it's a very intense period, the end of the week and the beginning of the week. Basically, Sunday leading into Monday, Tuesday has Sparkling Tuna Cup, Tenacious Turtle Tussle, the Warty TV Monday, the KSRC, and the Ursasaurus Cup. There's 5 weeklies back to back to back to back, non-stop StarCraft, and there are some key players that play in every single tournament. Usually it's Beyond, but Beyond was not here this week. We'll see how active these other players are going to be. As Sparkling Tuna Cup, that marks like the beginning of like the marathon of open cups. SCC is the beginning, and then Ursasaurus Cup is the end. So we have that rotation of 5 open cups. Oh, best of luck. Best of luck. So again, if you want to help support our tournaments, if you want to help support the Cranky Ducklings, you can do so via Patreon, !Patreon in the chat. That will help us. That would help us boost the prize pool for Sparkling Tuna Cup, Masters 1 Open, and Sea Duckling Open. If you're curious about the Turtle Tournament that's in 10 hours, that is not funded via Patreon. We do have a very passionate fan of StarCraft that does sponsor that event. That is Mark BT, as well as Stegosaurus. Both of them, they do contribute. Because of that, that event does have a much larger prize pool. Over the past couple of weeks, it's been a 300 USD prize pool. It's been insane, just how much support that event has been getting. But again, if you want to help support this one, you can do so via Patreon. Otherwise, thank you. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for tuning in. The StarCraft, again, has only just begun. If you are unsatiated, we got you covered in 10 hours. In 10 hours' time, we got another event, and then they just keep on coming and keep on coming. Let's go. Let us go. Here we go. As for now, thank you so much. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you wish, you can stick around. We're going to be giving another StarCraft streamer a raid. If Trigger is still going to be laddering, then... Oh, never mind. Just went offline. I was going to say we could raid Trigger, but did just go offline. So we'll find someone to send everyone over to. Otherwise, you can also follow us as well if you are curious. If you're interested, then you can follow us on all the social medias. Exclamation mark socials in the chat. You can follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Discord. All things Cranky Ducklings. On top of that, we live stream here on Twitch, and we also live stream on YouTube as well. So we're live on both YouTube and Twitch. Because of that, that also means that VODs are available instantly on YouTube. So if you can't watch live, if you want to tune into some of these tournaments, then check out our YouTube channel, because we got plenty of content on YouTube on a daily basis. Plenty of content, plenty of VODs available there if you wish. Otherwise, thank you for watching. Thank you for the support. We'll see you guys in 10 hours for our next tournament cast. Otherwise, if you're curious about the next Sparkling Tuna Cup, next week. This is a weekly tournament every single week. We got you covered. Also, a special shout out to all of our patrons as well. We did get a new patron yesterday even, I think last night during the amateur event, during MSO. So shout out to all of our new patrons, and old as well, young and old. And yeah, with that, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you guys tomorrow or the next time we see you for some more StarCraft. Enjoy the remainder of your weekend and have a great week in general. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time. Ciao, Bobby, ciao. See you next time.